The new day of the new year, on fire. So marvelous, so mysterious, so hidden, and yet revealing. It's really always like this in time. Revealing and yet hidden. What will be in this new year? There it comes. The first sunrise in the new year, the Jewish New Year, 5782. And just a little detail here I have to show you people. Oops, sorry. Just for a second, allow me to do this. I hope the camera won't jump around. But we got our friends here. Look at this guy moving. Look at the size of their loads. The industriousness, the activity. And right now we're in a moment of contemplation. Contemplation and activity. A new year begins. The clouds are penetrated, gradually melted, gradually disappearing. There are actually some clouds up here I have to show you for a second in the north here. And it's an interesting phenomenon that there's usually a sprinkle of rain sometime in the context of the new year. But it's just a sprinkle, it barely makes its presence felt on the ground. And the real rains come later on in probably November, December. Hey, I have to show you another detail that you're very familiar with, but still, it's the first day of the new year, and it's a flower, and it's tiny. Like the new year right now. It's tiny, it's just minutes old as a sunrise, it's hours old as a beginning, and here we have this little flower. And they're still blooming. They're blooming for months and months and months. I wonder if they're always blooming. So this is a rather pleasant scene this morning. A peaceful landscape. A peaceful lakescape. Let's get in there and see that a little bit more close up. The surprises, and then the sun seems to be going into hiding again behind this cloud. Sometimes the clouds eat up clouds of doubts, clouds of challenge. God bless all these people, maybe returning from a party, maybe returning from work, serving all night, or having people rejoice into the early hours of the morning. Some people are surprised, we are probably all surprised in that we're not familiar with the Jewish culture, that there's a Jewish New Year, counting from creation. But then we have a new school year right now in September. That was the beginning of the new school year. And then in some countries they organize their tax accountability for May, around that time of the year, before summer. And so there's the accounting year. And there's the so-called calendar year that we all celebrate as New Year's. And then we all celebrate a birthday, which is a new year. for each of us. So Happy New Year, whichever new year you're on, new school year, new Jewish year, new birthday. With all its changes and all its stability and constancy. Work and tasks, responsibilities, starting within our own persons. So the greeting here is Shana, Tova ve'metuka. Tova is good, Shana is year, a good year. This is the wish for everyone. Who would not wish that? Even to their enemies, let them have a good year, a year of goodness, a year of experience of goodness. At the end of the day, we don't have enemies, we just have brothers and sisters who might be misguided. Our relationship might need rearranging, new encounter, new discovery. Dealing with turns and challenges, rocky roads, watch where you're walking, all the circumstances that vary. And there are ideas that change in time, fashions, moods. Today in the letter to the Colossians, they're being encouraged and animated not to lose their basic discovery and principles, to be firm in the faith they have received, in the faith by which they were saved. So a lot of circumstances can change, and fashions can change, and ideologies can change, but our faith remains. Our faith has to be strong. There's a marvelous concept today in that reading that's very striking. The fullness of the divinity dwelt in him. The fullness of the divinity. What we all long for, what our hearts were made for. There's a great thirst for that encounter already in Deuteronomy chapter 12, to come before the Lord, to come into his presence. Come into his presence with songs of joy. That's Psalm 100. It's not our psalm today, I don't think. I didn't check the number of the psalm, but that just comes to mind. To be in the Lord's presence. Deuteronomy 12 has a very wonderful expression of that. To come before him, to bring our offerings before him. And then for those of us who are blessed with the Christian faith, the fullness of divinity dwelt in him. So this is the point of arrival, the point of coming together, the point of fulfillment, the point of greatest encounter on this earth. Now the sun is sailing high above the clouds. Not to be blocked anymore. So once you have the fullness of encounter, then you don't want the fake, you don't want the virtual, you don't want the remote. You want the close-up full encounter, the full embrace. The fullness of the gift, the fullness of the expression of one's gift to the other. And in the encounter with God, how amazing. And I would say that issue that's at the Colossians letter today is also an issue in our time, because there are many different ideologies being offered in the supermarket of ideas. And they actually take from that centrality. Maybe some people can find a path toward the fullness of divinity in Christ through some of those things as a path there. A place of a gentle entry. But once that gift is tasted and helped to flourish healthily, then no wonder there's this passion in this letter to help these people to anchor and not be swayed by different winds and fashions of thought and clever concocted ideas. It's all based on a very concrete experience. And Paul's experience of the fullness of the divinity is absolutely not just mind-boggling, but it transformed his life. And that's why there's such a passion there at the root of this letter to absolutely want to share that gift. And we see it in Jesus' heart in the gospel, because he's not just coming to share a couple of ideas, he's coming to rebuild the 12, the people, to bring them together, the identity. And so it becomes very concrete, within the very concrete terms and manners of that culture, expressing such a concrete reality in the here and now, because it's not an abstract philosophical theory. And the gift that has been received by them and handed on from generation to generation with such fidelity, despite all the brokenness, despite all of the challenges, difficulties, storms on the sea. And here we are today reading Colossians with a freshness hitting our hearts, renewing our hearts, almost like the first day. So people, thank you for joining us this morning. In this walk, we're almost at the end of the normal trek here. Well, not the normal trek. Is there any normal trek we have? We have a bunch of treks. And we actually could go through this fence here. And here we have the cows foraging. We're a step away from Tiberias and these beautiful rich harvests down here. One of these days I'm going to do something for you with the pomegranate, which is a very important symbolic feast of today, of the beginning of the new year. Here we are close to these cliffs with which you're so familiar. And we wish many blessings, Shana, Tova, and also they add metuka and sweet, so they eat sections of apple dipped in honey. May you be such a blessing today for people around you. Tastier than an apple dipped in honey. More heartwarming, more uplifting than an apple dipped in honey. God bless you. See you later, alligators. Happy New Year. Shana Tova v'metuka. Many, many blessings.